live from the smoking ruins of Tarbean. It's felling night,
This is Childish Gambino.
and this is Owen Velsider, and we welcome you to our second episode.
Where are we from? The smoky, what was it?
The smoking ruins of Tarbean.
Oh, okay.
That is the town?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tarbine.
Tarbean?
I think it's just pronounced Tarbine,
Oh man, yeah. We're gonna
honestly.
run into this
But
a lot.
yeah,
We'll have to go back and consult Pat for all this.
we're definitely not going to get 100% on all the pronunciations.
Well, and just to get this out of the way again, the channel that I was just asking you how to pronounce the tavern, not the tavern, but the bar,
Oh, yes, the Aeolian.
the Aeolian. They're quite the YouTube channel, the Aeolian.
I have to say, if I ever wrote a fantasy novel, I'd make all the names super easy.
Yeah,
Super easy to pronounce.
yeah. It's I mean,
That's one thing that I get hung up on when I'm reading them is pronunciations. So I do love that we have that video of Patrick Rothfuss pronouncing all the common names and stuff.
yes. And that video was published on the Aeolian on YouTube.
Oh, is that the name of the channel?
Yeah, that's the name of the channel. That's well, I was trying to get that at least that right. So if I can only pronounce one thing correct this evening, it'll be the Aeolian.
I see.
That's not going to stick. I don't know.
It'll be all right.
I don't know what I'll call it. So yeah, it's our second episode, and probably maybe give some shout outs here to when the Aeolian, because I get all my ideas from them. They're kind of the C-SPAN of the YouTube Kingkiller Chronicle channels. Yeah, they just publish Pat talking just straight up without commentary. Things like the development of the TV show and the movie. Things like Pat freaking out on the viewers of his Twitch channel whenever they ask when the Doors of Stone is being released.
For the millionth time.
Yeah. Pat steps on rake again and again. Also, the winner of the Guess Our Regional Accent contest was Mandy at Caster's Quest. I'm sorry, Caster Quest. That's at Caster Quest on Twitter.
Yeah, she spotted it.
Yes, she did. She guessed our Southern, Midwest, South, Middle accent dialect of.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yes. Actually, I don't think we own up to it. Yeah, we were from. Well, you can check us out on Twitter and find out where we're from.
It'll be a mystery until then.
Yeah, and it's the. And did we mention this before? Did we mention this in the last episode? This is going to be. I'm going to say, did we mention this in a previous episode? I'm going to say, we need to do a whole episode about that a lot.
Oh, that's right.
Did we mention the warm welcome that we received from all the other podcasters that are adjacent to Kingkiller Chronicle?
No, we didn't, but we have received warm welcomes.
Yeah, we really have. Even Waystone Pod started following us on Twitter, or Tales from the Waystone podcast.
Oh, yes.
And Os Quatros Cantos, which is a Brazilian
Oh, that's cool.
podcast. Yeah, it's in Portuguese. So we have some listeners out there being disappointed around the world.
Amazing.
Yeah. And actually, I love looking at analytics, and you really you don't really care about that stuff. But I did make a couple little notes here that.
Well, you know me.
Well, I mean, like I said, we got kind of a pretty cool listener base. We have about 53 from the U.S., 53%, which, it's kind of surprising. I expected it to be much higher.
Yeah.
And next, and these are going to be. I mean, I almost want you to guess.
I'm gonna. Okay.
Well, yeah. What would you guess? It's a tie for number 2.
I would guess either. Well, I don't.
I mean,
can I make a 3-part guess?
Go right. You can make a guess in 3 parts. Yes.
First thought was UK. Second was Australia. Third was Canada.
Okay, well, yeah, and that's exactly what I would think as well, right? English speaking, because if I have a grasp of any language poorly, it is English. So tied for number 2 behind the United States is South Korea and Austria, and that's not Australia, like
Austria.
Fosters and koalas and wallabies and the like. That's Austria, as in German speaking, rich history, Alps, I believe. They probably
That's it. That's
had
all they're known for.
Yeah,
That's just it. That's the end of the list.
pretty much. I mean, they have delicious chocolate, lakes, beautiful lakes. It's beautiful there. So we say hey to our Austrian listeners.
Welcome.
And South Korea, that's is tied for number 2.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It may be English speaking, like a teacher, English teacher.
I would hope maybe somebody deployed, maybe somebody Navy, I don't know, out there.
Or maybe our voices are so smooth they don't even have to understand us. They just enjoy it.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend, like, if it were a student in South Korea that was, maybe learning English, to say, well, you know how I learned English. Well, that was from listening to Felling Night Live podcast, because their English is going to be all messed up. Nobody will understand them. But hey, welcome. And so, rounding it out, our number, I guess, would this be number 4 or would this be number 3?
4.
Since we had a
That's
tie
the 4.
for okay, number 4 is the UK. Yeah, which I would have thought maybe number 2, but hey, they are kind of welcome UK. You all are doing what you can, and we appreciate everything you do. Bye.
I won't even try an English accent.
No,
I won't even try it.
No, not at all. We
That's how much respect
Yeah,
I have.
we wouldn't want you doing a South, Midwest, Mid-Southern regional dialect of ours.
No,
so,
it would be highly offensive.
Yeah, completely. So, and we wouldn't do. And it's such a broad little area to have the UK.
Yeah.
A lot of dialects there. All right. And so, as mentioned before, we have listeners in Brazil, and they and Canada are tied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brazil and Canada.
Yeah. We have Germany 1% and Singapore and France 1%. That's
all right, guys, we got to get those numbers up.
Yeah. I mean, just bug all your friends, tell your family. They'll have no idea what's going on. Just say, hey, I know you don't like role-playing games, fantasy novels, the internet, or just general, grabassery. Would that be the word? Yeah. But yeah, just.
I mean, that's kind of how it's gone for, when I've told people in real life about possibly, doing a podcast. Like, oh, what's it about? Something you're probably totally not interested in and care nothing about.
Absolutely. I try not to tell anybody in real life that occasionally it slips out. Well, I mean, you want to tell people. It's like being a pilot. How do you know somebody's a pilot? That you don't have to. They'll tell you.
Yeah, they're gonna let you know.
They sure will. So yeah, we're worldwide already, and
Wow.
Singapore. That's super interesting. Just because I don't know that we'll ever get back on the topic of Singapore, but it's a city state. It's I mean, I get Vatican City, like that's kind of it's supported around the world by people. I mean, I'm not saying that Singapore's besieged or anything, but they're a city state. It's just them
Exist
against
in
the
their
world,
own-
man. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hong Kong.
Oh yeah. It is. Yeah, city states they're wild. They're wild. You don't see many of those around these days. I
No,
guess was
not
maybe
many.
the So
Wasn't like I don't know. I won't even speculate.
So
I don't
and
know.
that ends our geography
lesson.
segment for this episode, and also we were just kind of talking and about what we had said on the previous episode, kind of corrections and what have you, and I remember being 100% correct. That
Yeah, I think we nailed it.
Yeah, so
Across the board.
Yeah, bang, boom.
Yep.
Yeah, so we also said that the first episode kind of being perfect, being a perfect episode. Really, this probably should be the last episode, and this is
probably. I mean, you kind of want to quit when you're on top.
we do. So
we're at the peak.
Yeah, I can't imagine it going any further than this.
Absolutely not.
So this is the second and final episode, and so
We'll make it a good one for you.
we will like a man who is waiting to die. This will be.
We'll leave you wanting more, but never give it to you.
But pretty much, that's. Yeah. I mean, I guess we were. Oh man, we really screwed up in telling them that we were going to. This was going to be the last episode. We should have.
Shoot, they might turn it off now.
A third episode, guys. This is not our last episode. In fact, we have one last episode in us after this one. So, just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
It'll be in a few months, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. We have it.
There's no rush.
And don't ask us about it for crying out loud,
Yeah.
please.
It'll get there when it gets there.
Yeah. So, but while we're at it, we were going to talk a little bit about, I think, kind of getting old, because we're both at the risk of getting doxxed. I mean, we're really releasing a lot of personal information about saying we recently both had birthdays.
That's true.
Yeah, so we're both older now. I mean, we're all older than the last time you listened to the first episode, unless you're listening to the second episode first.
Why would you do that? You should be ashamed of yourself if that's what you're doing. But.
Well, I guess there are kind of two different whole methodologies of how people use podcasts, but maybe that's something for do a whole nother episode on, which would be do you sort by new or do you sort by oldest,
or just alphabetically, or
don't say that. No, but who would do that?
Monster.
Yeah, I mean some podcasts are almost named well enough to withstand an A to Z sorting, but you're really asking for it. Being a podcast fan for as long as we have, there's the naming, and it's left a little to be desired. You change the naming in the middle of a run, and
it's true. I will say, we talked last episode. I kind of somewhat introduced you to the books that this podcast is about, but you kind of introduced me, or got me into kind of listening to podcasts more in general.
Oh wow! Oh no! For some reason I thought you. As whenever someone blathers on to you about podcasts and you glaze over, I just assumed you were into them, and your silence and not making eye contact with me was a sure sign of you being a podcast fan and not just trying to ignore me.
I was just tapping into that future side of me, myself. So.
Yeah. So part of what I kind of thought about talking about was getting old and getting older, and I was I mean, I don't even know if I should admit to this. I think it might be illegal, but I went to an outdoor gathering last night for a little while. Yeah.
Was it socially distanced?
I mean, it not to my. It's almost like again, I'm not going to get political, but to your political spectrum, it depends on how socially distanced you are. So, I was outside of my comfort zone, both politically and socially distancing, but it was okay. But there was a baby there. The baby was socially distanced for the most part, but it really freaked me out. Just seeing a baby. I hadn't seen one in a while.
The baby wasn't just flirting around with everyone.
No. Well, I mean, among like the mom, dad, and the uncle, it was being handed back and forth. They were kind of playing hot baby, and you could tell the baby was it
had enough.
It was a little warm, for it. I think. I mean, it's not. It was maybe in the 70s yesterday, high 70s. So, I could see it being warm, and it's just
That's
baby things. Babies don't have a choice.
that was the worst part of being a baby is you couldn't express your thoughts.
No,
you know?
no, you don't. If the party sucks,
Man,
you can't be
you're
like, let's bounce here.
No.
I'm not comfortable with the social distancing here. I'm a baby.
Yeah, this is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, although they I guess have the super immune system, but that kind of brings me to a crazy theory I have, which I think I'm gonna play a sound effect so everybody. Yeah,
I'm thoroughly spooked.
yeah. So my crazy theory is on the zodiac.
Okay.
Horoscopes. Have I told you this one before?
I don't know.
Well, besides the baby, reminding me of our impending doom and the the cruel cycle and circle of life. It also reminded me that if I think that the personality traits that are associated supposedly with different zodiac signs can be kind of true. And I think it has to do with, a nurture kind of thing where if you're a baby and you're born in July, it's hot, but you're gonna have hot baby syndrome.
I see.
Everybody's gonna pass you around and be like, "Oh, hot baby," and you're gonna be pretty naked most of the time. So you're gonna be getting lots of contact and all this. It's gonna be different. For you than a baby born, maybe in mid-December. And you're all swaddled up all the time, and who cares? And one person's fine holding you all the time because it's not this, hot little baby. In fact, you're like, give me the baby. I'm cold.
But probably also not passed around as much, just because it would probably be, indoors a little more, in the winter.
Yes, you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I guess it would have to be opposite in Australia. And unfortunately, from these analytics, we have no Australian listeners.
None? 0%?
Zero. So we can't even ask them if my theory holds any water whatsoever.
Well, shit. We'll just have to believe it.
Yeah. Again, 100% so far. We just not even bank swish. I mean, we're just like out there from the 3-point, just throwing rocks right in.
One after the other.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
but getting old, was there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, well, getting old, I was going to talk about like old Cobb and some of the older characters of the story. Since we're not doing a read through, but then I realized, much like all my school experience, I didn't do the prerequisite work, and so I've just shown up. And we're just gonna BS.
That works for me.
Yeah, but Scarpy, that dude's old.
Yeah.
Old Cobb, he's old by his name. And I did look up. I was like, what is old? What's old in this world? And it's I guess between 50 and 60.
Okay.
Yes, which could bring us back to some more analytics actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a spread here on the audience demographics too.
Of age range. Okay.
I'm shocked at how much information this anchor thing gives us. But 18 to 22, 12%.
Is that our highest?
No.
Oh, okay.
They are tied with 23 to 27 at also 12%.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 28 to 34-year-old crowd at 62% is where we're really knocking it out of the park.
Interesting.
Yeah, we are.
That kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I won't explain my thoughts any more than that, just to say that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a joke that would be relatable just to 28 to 34-year-olds. And all I can think of are Gen X references. So if you guys have not heard of BJ and the Bear, you probably have listened to our podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Then we have 35 to 44-year-olds is 12%.
Okay.
And we're batting zero with the 45 to 59-year-old crowd and 60 plus.
Yikes. Does that mean Patrick Rothfuss isn't listening to our podcast?
It means literally I am not listening to the podcast either.
Shit.
Yeah, so we're like we're getting old, but our audience is fairly young, but 0% again on the 0 to 17 crowd. So these babies that freak me out and remind us again of our impending doom. They are not. We don't have to worry about them.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, I don't want to interact with a baby. Like, what do you do? A baby fan, like
You can't even
be like, "Hey, I'm eating, baby fan. Get it, go away." I can't give you an autograph.
I mean, all they do is cry, so
Yeah, I mean, babies are the worst. I mean,
absolute worst.
if the King of England came in your house and started demanding, you clean him, cook him, not cook him, cook for him, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't put up with it. You would rebel. Again, sorry to our UK listeners. I'm well aware of
a sore spot.
There's no King of England currently. It's a kind of a fictitious example, I guess. But the King of England's going to come in and start bossing you around. No way, right?
Shit.
But this baby comes in. Any baby. It's any baby. It's like any baby comes in, and you've got to. I mean, you're just like, what is going on? This baby is here all of a sudden. Yeah. So, especially if it's just the baby, they're real tyrants. Especially, autocratic. So the babies are not listening. I guess it's because they can't read, but audiobooks are available, so they could, could kind of get on it.
And surely there's some parents out there reading this tale to their children.
I would imagine. I can't imagine why they wouldn't be. I would definitely skip over, anything, any of the children's stories that Pat has written, and go straight for, only the fan cut is what I would do. Just stuff from the fan realm. Really freak the kids out. Open their eyes. The windows of perception are open only for a few moments to discover the true horror that is the Felurian chapters. Oh, God.
Open their minds.
And a full right-on 50-50 split on male to female listenership.
Okay.
Our graph is just cut right in half. So
one male, one female.
Yeah.
Listener.
Yep. A lot of man mothers out there listening to us. So, hey guys, hey girls. That's terrible. I think everybody's offended now by that.
Yep. They all hate you.
Yeah. So, but I find that actually surprising that I don't feel like I see that a lot in different areas of the internet. Is a good 50-50 split amongst people who identify as those genders. And again, people who are not specified or non-binary are not showing up in our
that
listenership.
Seems
so
a little bigoted of our.
I know we are offended by this, guys. So if you could, tell your non-binary friends to join us, and I guess even if they have no interest whatsoever.
Yeah, just give it a listen, anyways.
Yeah. So hey, all are welcome across the world, and that's 24 minutes of just kind of an introduction. I think we really have we did mention Patrick Rothfuss at least once.
I think we may have mentioned him once.
We did.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, he wrote those books that this is supposed to be about. This is a
what is this again?
This is a Kingkiller Chronicle podcast, and I think that's something that maybe I should add into the open because it may not have been clear.
I think you did mention it.
Okay.
I think you did up at the top.
That's good. So I mean, we're doing pretty good. This is 100%.
Who are we gonna get to sing our theme song? Like, are we gonna get like a band or?
I mean, I don't want to reinvent the wheel and just get Lin-Manuel Miranda.
He was kind of. I was thinking about him, but I was like, eh.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone's using him these days.
He's really booked, and it's just it is kind of just
Yeah, he's just kind of run of the mill now. At this point,
I would not say flavor of the week by any stretch of the imagination, but we don't talk about Liberace anymore. We don't talk about some of these greats, and he will be down with the greats, but and also I think it's too late for us to hitch our wagon to his star.
Yeah, that's true.
But Pat, I don't know if he is still connected, but did you know that he was connected to a project related to Kingkiller Chronicle?
I did not know.
There was a television show and movie in development, and I actually have a clip here from the Aeolian. And we're gonna kind of play through it and maybe do a little commentary over it.
All right.
And so we thanks again to the Aeolian for clipping this out, publishing it for all of us to see.
Big shout out. Where's that button?
Yeah, I think I think I've got an air horn right here.
Shit, that was very appropriate though.
Yeah, I'm not very good on the patch yet, but let me. See if I can tee up. This is Pat at a conference. Somebody's just asked him about the TV series and movie of the Kingkiller Chronicle, and we'll let Pat fill you in.
There is a deal with Lionsgate for my main stuff, the Kingkiller books. We have a deal with Lionsgate. I've been working with them for 1,000 years. It feels like there's.
Okay, I'm just gonna already stop it there and say, Lionsgate. This actually makes me really happy. Not because, it's not like Criterion. Obviously Criterion doesn't produce movies on the front end, but Lionsgate produces a certain kind of movie. Will you probably are kind of recognize this? They're wild and they're kind of out there, but not too out there.
They'll take chances.
They'll take some chances, but it's still going to be a moderately satisfying movie. They're going to occasionally be, even have some Oscar bait and win Oscars, but it's it's a lot of the good stuff of independent filmmaking without it being too high-minded, I guess.
Okay.
It's not going to suffer from a David Lynch, Dune, I don't understand what's happening in this scene kind of thing. They're gonna make sure you understand what's playing on the screen.
Yeah.
At least to a certain degree. So the fact that it's a Lionsgate production does make me feel better, and we're gonna follow this up because there's more news after this about what is in development.
Okay.
So we'll keep going.
TV show and a movie, both quote unquote in development. That is the phrase that I've been told I can use because it means anything. John Rogers is my showrunner. He is a geek all the way down to his bones, and he's brilliant. He did Leverage, he did The Librarians. He's working on the TV show, and I could not be more delighted. Raimi is right now.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Something that I do know that's past this talk or maybe around it is that the showrunner, the writer, had said that he had written the entire season of the first season of this show. So that's very encouraging. That something's in the can as far as something to produce.
Did they,
Yeah.
mention anything like that first season would be like the first book or anything like that?
Yeah, they do, and we'll go through this. I don't think Pat mentions it in this about what is supposed to be set where, but we'll work our way through that, and we'll talk about it here in a minute. But
Okay.
he's going on to talk about how Sam Raimi is attached to the film.
Talking with us about the movie, that has been sort of, that's out there in the ether. That knowledge exists, so I can acknowledge it here. Raimi is a super nice guy too. Like, he came to me, and part of me was like, Raimi? You know, I'm like, when he does a thing, he does it all as the thing that it should be. Anyone who's seen Evil Dead knew what it was, and then was that 1,000%. And that shouldn't be Kingkiller, but if he can figure out what Kingkiller is and do that there, that would be kind of awesome. But he came into the room and he asked me 6 hours of questions. And I'm like, oh, he really wants to understand what's going on here. So yeah, there's all of that stuff is going on, period. In conjunction.
So one thing that I think about with Raimi, and that would be near perfect with these stories, would be have you seen Evil Dead: Army of Darkness? That series.
Yes.
So when he is Ash, the main character in Evil Dead, I guess it's in Evil Dead 2. He lops off his arm with a chainsaw, and then affixes the chainsaw to the stump, and has that throughout the first or the second and the third movie. It's complicated with that movie, as the first Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 is practically a remake of Evil Dead with slightly different ending and some other bigger
budget.
Yes, that's it. A bigger budget. So in the Army of Darkness, he replaces his chainsaw hand with a kind of a mechanical knight's, like a gauntlet. And so he basically has a RoboCop hand in that. And there's scenes where they're making the hand, and it's the Raimi's like zooming in.
Oh yeah.
And the I could see some scenes from the some artificing and making some ruins and doing stuff like that.
Cool little editing tricks and stuff.
Yeah. So, but it's also encouraging to hear that he also is invested in the story.
Yeah, I kind of believe him completely when he says 6 hours.
Yeah. Now I look at the. I don't have to tell our main listenership that he also did the Spider-Man movies from the early 2000s. I think people are fully aware of that. So I feel like Sam Raimi is what set the tone for a lot of the genre movies.
He nailed that first one. He really
past
did.
20 years. Yeah.
It's pretty it's like iconic now.
It is. I think. And it was a Sam Raimi movie through and through still, with like lots of the camera work and the zoom ins, especially with Doc Ock in the second one. Was that the second one?
Yeah. The first one he did a lot. He did the whole mirror with the goblin and the mirror where it's two personalities kind of going.
That was very much, and you have to wonder how he is on set. I mean, I've
I know nothing about like him as a person.
It's kind of, he did real low budget work. It gets lots of production value out of the crew, casting crew. But we'll keep going with this talk here.
It's my new best friend, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is signed on as a sort of consultant, resident musicer, and president of the Don't Fuck It Up committee, which he actually said in a meeting. He says, I just kind of want to be president of the Don't Fuck It Up committee because I really like these books. And when he said that, I felt a weight lift from my heart, because I realized I should not be president of that committee. I should be on the committee. But like knowing that he cared and he wanted to help with that was really reassuring to me. So that's not really news. That's been out there for a while, but for those of you that didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. There you go. Thank you.
So yeah, that's
I see. So, I'm assuming, he's got him kind of in on the project because of all the musical elements in the books.
yes. In fact, I have not watched or experienced Hamilton, but apparently there are scenes in Hamilton that he was inspired by the book to write.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, there is a again, I don't know about Hamilton, but apparently the
You should watch. You have Disney Plus, so you could watch it anytime.
I do. I pay for Disney Plus. I pay for my my streaming
Sorry
services.
man, I just let the world know that, didn't I?
Oh no, it's okay. I enjoy a good genre.
But yeah, I
story.
really want to see that Hamilton as well.
Yeah. So there's he based a scene off of them walking back from the is it the
Aeolian.
Is it the Aeolian? It's them walking back from the Aeolian that night, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like the three of them
Yeah,
having a good
cavorting
time
and-
being young
Drunk.
and not a care in the world. Those were the days.
That is going to be hard to film some of those musical elements for sure. Like, when Kvothe kind of he's right after his parents died, and he's kind of stumbles off into the forest, and he just loses himself into the harp or whatever, and he says he until he's playing the sound of the rustling of leaves and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's so
Yes.
poetic sounding, and it's going to be difficult to film that, I would think,
It would be
or to express that.
It sounds so much better when you can just say,
Uh-huh.
he was playing the,
Yes.
sound, the sound of the leaves.
Although I do really like, I think they could pull it off where he does this one stunt in the Alien Kvothe where he plays like a really common kind of a pop tune
Yes.
for the crowd, and he acts like it's the hardest thing in the world, and then he plays one of the hardest songs and just acts like it's nothing, and he's yawning during it, and,
Yes, yes.
and just twisting his strings and tuning them in mid-song while he's playing one of the most difficult songs in the world. Like,
Yeah, so that's why we're not going to bother Lin-Manuel Miranda about this, because he hopefully he's still attached. Now with Raimi, he is no longer attached to this.
although that could always come back around, because
it can. He's currently working in the Marvel universe on the Doctor Strange Part 2 movie.
I see.
So he bumped that up, and I guess that's still being made. Like, it doesn't sound like they've stopped production of it, but I guess they have. I mean, they stopped production of everything.
So I did ask. So do we know if the season that guy wrote is supposed to be like that? One season is one book, or
Oh yeah, I can't believe I teased that out, and then I was going to forget to answer it. The TV show is supposed to be a prequel. It's supposed to be set maybe even a generation or more before Kvothe and his king killing escapades. So people have theorized that it might be about Arladin, the troop. It could be about anything. I just want it to be just Tamerlane the Great, the TV show.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all I want. Just it's a superhero show, but set in that world.
Mm-hmm. See, I mentioned this last episode, but we didn't really talk about it. I just kind of mentioned it, but just about how we have day 1 and day 2 has basically been like up to Kvothe at 15 years old, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like there's going to be like between then and the present time and within the books seems like it's there's a lot more time.
Well, I may have a theory on that. So no, I'm sorry. That's absolutely terrible. I just figure, Kvothe, like Jesus, will have kind of a time between 15 and now that's pretty murky.
Oh, I see.
Maybe book 3 is going to be like, and kind of stuff happened, and here we are, and then
And here we are to the climax of the story.
yeah, and that's I think that it'll be a pamphlet sized book.
I see.
It's novella would do novella and injustice. It's going to be very short. Yeah.
Do you remember where we leave off at the end of book 2? I can't remember exactly, like where we leave him.
In the story, we leave him. He has returned to the university after being in the Fae and having the adventures and the in Ademre.
But he's not coming back to
to
re-enroll, is he? Or he is?
Yeah.
Okay, he
he's
is.
come back. Like remember, Master Eladin. He not Oladin, right? Eladin.
Elodin or Eladin?
Yes.
I'm not sure which one.
He sees him and spots the shade almost first thing that he's wearing. He's like, "Where'd you get that?" And says he looks, markedly different. Which
we now know why he's saying that.
Yeah, we sure do. Spoilers. He's half Fae at
He's
least,
half
at the very least. So yeah, he's It leaves off. Man, that's terrible. That I don't. I'm blanking on.
I mean, it's alright. Me too.
Yeah, we
Blanking.
should. This is shooting our percentage down to 99.99 repeating.
Oh man, I forgot about our record.
Yeah, we shouldn't have brought this up. I should have switched topics quickly to. We do know that. We just don't want.
We'll
to
edit this out in post.
We just want to talk about we want to do a whole episode on that actually later.
Oh, okay.
Well.
Expand upon it more.
Yeah, that's why we're not talking about that now. Is that. So apparently the show and movie, they it was going to be picked up. The show was picked up by Showtime, but as of there's a Newsweek article, and apparently Newsweek is kind of your hot source for Kingkiller Chronicle information, of the mainstream media, so to speak, the MSM, the lamestream media. They have apparently Newsweek. There's I guess it's Andrew Whalen. He writes a bit about Kingkiller Chronicle and has been keeping up with it.
Well, they have an insider.
Yeah. So apparently, in May of 2019, that's when the drafts had been finished for a 10-episode first season for Showtime. So, it could still be picked up by, Amazon. And there's a lot of streaming services that are
Let's list them all now.
For content. I know I was about to just start doing it. I was like, it could be this one or that one or Quibi. It could be any of these. So, it could be Voodoo. They could come back, and so I guess Lin-Manuel Miranda is still attached, maybe as some kind of producer,
some sort of consultant role.
Yeah, so good for him, and good for the show. I really don't know where they set with it, in the fact that I guess that it's written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they could always do, if they didn't do kind of a prequel thing, they could always do a series based on those mystery years that we're going to come across here, some more adventures that he gets into.
The further adventures of Kvothe and the...
in VR or something, maybe he could meet up with him in the...
Oh, man, they high five. They chest bump.
They chest bump.
They don't high five. They jump up and chest bump.
No, they do manly shit.
Yeah. And that's the opening of the show. and they play the maybe that "You're the Best Around" song from the Karate Kid. We could it could be something, something like that. That's basically what I want the show to be. Yeah.
I mean, if it branched off into the VRE adventures, that'd be awesome. I mean, he's got a kick-ass job of like the acquisitions, just like going around the world and going to interesting places. And
yeah, and did we talk about this in the last episode? And again, this is also something we could do a entire episode about. It's not just VRE, but the books, but why books are so precious. There's so few, or why it's why you can destroy books and knowledge dies, is that there doesn't appear to be movable type in this world.
Which is strange in a world of magic. You would think that they would almost have like a type of magic that could duplicate words in a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not E-ink just yet, but wizard ink, like W ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, a sympathy reader.
A sympathy reader.
Yeah. You don't want to power a Kindle with your body heat.
But they definitely have machines in this world too, because I mean, I don't know, I can't think of any examples of like machinery that's working at that moment, but I do know in the Underthing there's, in the old university there was giant machines down there and stuff. So
yes,
yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, they're obviously, I think much like our Earth, there was a prehistory that's of an advanced civilization that is hidden from us.
Yeah.
Of course, that's still more of the. But yeah, so there.
It reminds me of I used to think my big crazy theory for Wheel of Time was that it was like way in the future after like our civilization. I just based that entirely because it talked about something about in that book, way in the past there was like steel machines that like flew like horses or something like that, and I'm like, fucking cars. Yeah, this is based on it, but it's ludicrous. There's no other. It's just like one sentence in the entire series.
Oh man, I love that kind of stuff.
But
I'll latch onto. I'll ignore entire chapters of books, whole swaths of plot, but I'll latch onto one sentence in it, and it'll color my whole reading of the entire series. Yeah. That's good. I like that. But yeah, I think it's pretty telling of the world they live in. Or I'm not gonna say that Pat needs to that's a plot hole and that Pat needs to explain himself really. But instead of why isn't Doors of Stone produced? I want to know, Pat. Why? Where's the movable type? Who's your Gutenberg here? Like,
is he just around the corner? Like, is this right at the time period, and it's just before?
Yeah. Is there a Talon Church Renaissance? Is there something about to happen? Is there maybe Quoth invents some movable type and messes with the Talon Church and nails some theses to the.
That's going to be the climax of the whole series. He invents the printing press.
He does, and that would really mess up the world and probably cause Scrael to. That's what happened in our world when the printing press was developed.
True.
Yeah.
Lots of parallels.
Tons of parallels. I mean, really, just even dropping Scrael. It is. I did mention. Did I say that it was a Halloween party? It was close. That this is. Should we even mention the seasons in these episodes? Like that it's close to Halloween.
People are gonna. I don't know. It's too personal, I think. But
I don't want to. Yeah, it's just I don't want to date these. I need a certain timelessness to these episodes that. But then another part of me wants to have a Halloween episode.
But think about it in the future when we're all just burning up in a planet of heat and fire. They're gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh, he's talking about seasons." Like, I
remember hearing about those in school. Yeah. Like I don't. Not that I remember seasons, or I remember, Meemaw talking about seasons. It is. I remember those being from a book that was burned later.
Being discussed about.
But it, I guess it says a lot about our systems that we didn't have movable type until we did. At least that we know of.
Basically, it was just to like move the Bible, right?
Yeah,
That's basically what it was at first. It was like,
yeah.
man, we got to push this Bible out fast.
They sure did, and I mean, I guess it wouldn't have been. It would have made sense to have entire pages like printed of something that long, like etched or metal versions to have each page printed. So you would want a type that is movable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to get hung up on this here about the movable type right now, but
I mean, maybe that's part 2. So Quoth invents the printing press, and then he fucking organizes the goddamn library.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He invents like some kind of Dewey Decimal,
an actual Dewey Decimal cataloging system that
Library of Congress.
That kind of baffles me. Like, I understand that there's like the reason why it's so disjoint, like so unorganized in there is because they get a new leader who wants their organization system put in or whatever, and then the next one comes in wants his. But I mean, at some point, that's got to stop. I mean,
yeah, but it's so real life. It kind of is. Those little bits really make the whole series enjoyable, because it is like the fight between, now, and you got your Chicago styles, and you got your what is it, the MLA style. You've got your Dewey Decimal System versus your Library Congress system of filing, and these are just the ones that I'm thinking of offhand. There's the ones that predate the Dewey Decimal and predate the all these others, each system competing against each other. Like Lotus. There's people still on like Lotus Suite at corporations because their database is in a certain language, that only hooks up or won't do this function because of this, and there they are,
I think I've got a solution for them though. What they need to do, I think, is, I mean, they charge students for everything. Why not, charge them to use the library? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could hire some people to get that shit organized. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Will, I'm not going to say that this is the silver bullet for this whole world, but, you invent movable type, you free up these scrivs that are busy copying.
To organize, exactly.
Yeah, while you got your people, you got some schlub idiots printing that don't need, they don't need to be able to read what they're doing. They just need to,
They just stand there to make sure the machine's still working.
Exactly, man. So that's my gripe. That's my one gripe with the entirety of the series.
It would be interesting if he addresses it at some point in some way. Like,
let's hope, and maybe we can, get that out since we have a, basically this is.
Could you speculate if he was to, actually address it? What do you think it would be?
I don't know. I don't know. It would be kind of like a laser printer in his world, I imagine. Yeah. It would do something. It would write it to a sheet, a metal sheet.
No, sorry. I just mean, like, what do you think is like if he actually expressed this reason for not having a printing press at this point? What do you think it would be?
Yeah.
He just didn't think it,
Yeah, I mean, it would be bad if it were just like, oh, well, they just didn't think of it. There's got to be kind of a reason, and I imagine the Chandria, it's their fault.
Yeah,
they've done it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It all goes back to them.
They smashed all the printing presses, and anytime somebody builds one, they show up and break it up because they know what's next.
Yeah.
First, it's the Talon Bible, and then it's the.
I mean, there's probably. I think it maybe even is alluded to that there's like patent offices, in this world, so they care about that patent for it, and they just swoop in,
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what they do to everything else. They just kind of swoop in. It seems like I don't know, it's kind of strange because they're supremely effective in one hand, like no trace of books that mention them at all in the history of this goddamn war. Like, quotes, searching high and low for any word of them, the most you can find is like a 4-line nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
and yet they like let him go. Like they see him, they know
Yeah.
he's alive. They know he witnessed it,
Yeah,
and they leave him be.
They left him, but I don't know. They let him go. Yeah, they were getting.
And also, the wedding massacre was just kind of a mess. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, a little girl, like, they discover a pot,
Yeah,
a piece of pottery that's got, some of their images on it. Probably, maybe in some language, alludes to them and some, or, reveals something. But then they just kind of swoop in during a wedding and just kind of kill a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like, it
doesn't really. I mean, yeah, it doesn't make too much sense.
It's effective on one hand, but yeah.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, and I guess, I mean, everybody knows about them though. Everybody knows about them.
Yeah.
And knows like what which is a bit. I mean, Scarpy gets up and arrested for talking even like around about it by the Talon Church. So it's like everybody's in on like turning you in if you know too much.
That's true.
It's weird that obviously that's the central MacGuffin of the story. I mean, obviously that's not going to get answered, right? It's going to be just more questions by the end of it about.
I think so.
I would imagine. This is all.
Or it's really just going to be as simple. I mean, kind of as simple as that. As you've got Landry, who turns into Halifax, who then picks up followers, who destroys any word about them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's crazier cults.
There's going to be some reveals for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they won't be just like worshiping an unexploded atomic bomb below the university.
Hopefully not.
I mean, that's kind of been done already with Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
But for a fact, I mean, surely some of the Chandrian or one of them went through the university, at some point.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, I guess
that's got to happen, right?
Right. And was the university a thing pre-creation war?
Oh.
Maybe not.
Probably not.
I was reading a theory on Reddit, and it's a shame that I won't be able to source what they were, the person who said this, but it was that they had kind of thought that maybe Ilir, the different ranks were really mainly about naming and sympathy, kind of the harder of the magics, and that later just artificing and stuff became coarse as well, but that it was basically the old Feyan kind of magics were taught at the university at first until they kind of had to be more practical.
Yeah, they used to like, I remember I mentioned this in the last podcast, but kind of where I'm at in the second book, Elxadal, is that his name? God damn, I forget. But he was just, I guess Kvothe had asked him, what name did he know? And he was talking about how that's kind of rude, but it kind of stems back from when they, like, you had to keep that shit secret because your enemies could use it against you, and everyone fucking knew the names of something,
Yes, and it's almost like there's a complete flip on it where it's almost like it was, and here we go, these differences again of like a humanities kind of education over a trade school education where the university used to be a school of the humanities and a classical education, and then of course what the university resembles currently in its current form is more of that kind of classical education and not a trade school, but in a way, and this is like Ben when he shows up with his wagon, he's basically saying he's a tinker, right? I mean, does it say that he's a tinker on his wagon? Like,
I forget.
Is this trade school for being a tinker? Like, is it, is that kind of coursework that you can take in a way? Like, those guys know a lot, and that they wouldn't. They know it's trade school for tinkers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess so.
in a way.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it always, like, it alludes to tinkers, you know. It
Yeah.
could just be old folks things, but, you know, you don't not help a tinker, you know.
Right.
Because they can kind of
Yeah.
fuck with you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, there's also the theory like tinkers are, maybe Feyan or maybe, not of this world. You're right, they're magical, but not in the magic of, an arcanist.
Yeah.
But then what the heck? The university graduates a lot of people. I mean, I get you need scribs and you need accountants and stuff, and people are, because you don't have, movable type. But besides that, like, what does the world need arcanists for, other than they're always like, don't tell anybody you're an arcanist. Like, don't.
Yeah, that's what's kind of the odd thing is you have, like,
don't tell them you're a history
kind of
major.
rich nobles sending their sons off to the university to become arcanists that's just frowned upon everywhere in the, you know what I mean? It's like frowned upon.
Yeah,
so.
it's not like, they've gone off to make the tale in church or anything,
Yeah.
and this is like the sixth born son or something that's done this. It's normally a pretty, you want them educated and you send them to the university.
Yeah.
They teach this devilry, a bunch of witchery.
Although it is kind of, it does talk about how the town that the Aeolian is in, I forget the name of the town actually, but it's because it's right next to I forget Emory.
Yes.
Emory.
Yes.
Goddamn Emory. They do they enjoy the benefits of the university. All the things that they make. The I forget the name of the flame. The lanterns,
sympathy lamps.
Yes. And those sort of.
Right, they are crafter. You're right. They do make technology.
Yes, they make technology basically.
They're like the Apple.
I can't think of any
day.
other examples, but there's there's
the
lots of
sympathy
different
watch. There's the sympathy MacBook. Air.
Yeah.
The sympathy pad.
But no, they even have like coolers, like refrigerator. I remember because
that's right.
Yeah, both.
He goes to fix one at
he
a
fixes
bar.
one.
Yeah, they got a lot going on.
Yeah.
They got a lot going on.
So it's kind of like totally hypocritical of them to look down upon those university kids, but
Yeah.
They I think they did express that though, where also the university kind of looked down upon magicians or musicians, but at the same time at night they go over to Emory and they go into the taverns and they listen to the music.
Oh right, yeah, that's
it's
true.
the same kind of deal where the musicians frown upon the arcanists, but they'll use their items that they create.
Yeah, the magic pick that
magical.
plays your song without having to know any chords.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to buy one of those. Well, you know what? I think we've probably made it through our second and final episode here.
Oh.
I think we could probably even wrap this up.
Wrap it up. Call it a.
Yeah.
Call it.
If you
call it a podcast.
Yeah, we'll call it a podcast and put it out there. Hopefully, we'll get it out by Felling Night. And,
I mean, it's 2 hours of content. I mean, people pay good money to go see 2 hours of content.
That's right.
And
we're doing it for the lulz. We're just doing it so we can say we have a podcast. Really, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And maybe a sequel will be in the works. Maybe.
Yeah. We're doing a third episode though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Don't.
Oh, we're never ending this podcast.
Yeah,
it's going on
that's
forever.
weird. Yeah, I mean, this is the final one, but this is not the end.
It's the final one of the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know if we expressed that clearly, but it's the final episode of the beginning of this podcast run.
Right. But yeah, just wait patiently for the third one. Don't go onto Twitter at Felling Night. No, wait, at Night Live.
At Night Live.
Yeah, don't bother the guy at Felling Night. He's not happy about.
He is pissed.
Yeah, I wish you guys would. Stop
He's like, what the fuck is this talk about?
Yeah, I'm just
Killer.
trying to. Yeah, he's He doesn't even know anything. He's
No.
never read the book. Felony Knight doesn't. I don't even know what that means.
Doesn't
to
give a
him.
shit about fantasy.
No. So it's at Night Live. If you want to tweet us.
We welcome corrections. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Give
Definitely.
us a segment to have on the next episode where we correct ourselves.
For sure. Yes. we
Prove
want,
that we've ever been wrong.
comments, corrections, things of that nature. Show ideas.
I mean, I don't believe we've ever been wrong, so I need proof.
Oh yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that there's going to be a source for that at all. So until next time, this is Owen Velseter,
This is Childish Gambino.
and yeah, we'll see you next time.